Varys stood alone in the darkness of the black cells, a lone torch guttering behind him as he regarded the man across the bars. The spider had kept his hood raised even in the reeking subterranean corridor, precautions born of habit rather than necessity. Yet the glimmer of flame revealed the treacherous tremor in his eyes. He smelled rotting straw and wet stone, and beneath that the salt sting of his own sweat, proof that even a lifetime of secrets could not shield him entirely from fear. His visitor was the most recent recruit to the little birds, a girl of 9 whose tiny fists clenched a rough cloth bundle. She had been stolen from flea-bottom sties a year past, fed, taught her letters, and shown the wisdom of silence. Now she looked on him wide-eyed, as though she understood the weight of what she carried. Varys knelt, the silk of his slippers whispering against the damp flagstones, and whispered softer still. "Remember, Nelka, no one must see you. You are dust on a sill, a shadow in a hall. Place it with the dried cherries in the king's tarts. Then go." She nodded once. Her small hands trembled, and for a heartbeat he thought she might bolt. Instead she turned and vanished into the gloom, leaving only the echo of bare feet. Varys exhaled, slow and measured, until calm returned like a cloak upon his shoulders. One life for 10,000, he reminded himself. A life already bent toward madness. Better a painless passing than a kingdom in flames. The red keep stirred awake long before dawn. Kitchen hearths blazed, scullions dragged sacks of flour across flagstones, and the great stone ovens devoured logs in greedy gulps. Outside, gulls screeched above the blackwater, the first orange smear of sunrise bleeding across the water like a wound. In the royal kitchens, a pair of orange tabby cats wound around the ankles of cook Larima as she supervised the morning work. Her baker's boys kneaded dough for the day's bread, and Nelka passed unseen among them, a wisp in mottled brown rags. She drew the cloth bundle from her sleeve, a pinch of fine violet crystals, no larger than ground pepper. The crystals glimmered briefly, catching a stray shaft of sunlight, then vanished into a bowl of sugared dried cherries cooling on a wooden rack. With a wooden spoon she stirred once, then melted back into shadow. By the time the third bell rang, the cherry bowl had been carried to the royal solar where the queen's cupbearer would fill the pastry shells. A small detail Littlefinger had ensured months ago when he replaced a surly page with one more amenable to coin. Varys had taken note then, as he took note of everything. Joffrey Baratheon greeted the day with irritation. Sunlight stabbed at his eyes, and the distant clangor of training swords drifted from the yard below. The boy king rose, flung off his linen sheets, and shouted for the servants to draw his bath. A fresh bruise colored his left wrist where he had struck Sansa Stark the night before, irked that she would not smile after hearing of her father's imprisonment. Now, as he stepped into the steaming tub, the ache throbbed. He resolved to have the girl beaten properly if she dared sulk again. A king should be obeyed. A king must be feared. He remembered Queen Cersei's words, whispered like poison in his ear. As the pages scrubbed his back, he planned the day's amusement. Archers firing crossbow bolts at a watermelon painted with a boar's head. For kittens drowned in a barrel to test the squire's stomach. A private supper in the solar where he could taunt Sansa anew. Perhaps he would make Grandfather Tywin proud. When the servants dressed him in crimson velvet, he studied his reflection. 16 years had hardened him. His chin a shade broader, the golden curls cropped close, the green Lannister eyes shining cruelly bright. He admired himself until the mirror fogged with his breath, then stalked out, hunger gnawing. Sansa Stark watched from the window of her chamber as a fresh-washed sky vaulted over the city. King's Landing glittered, domes and spires gilded in dawnlight, so beautiful from a distance that she almost forgot the stench. But she could not forget Joffrey's slap. Her cheek still burned though the bruise was gone. Ser Mandon Moore waited by the door to escort her to breakfast. White armor, white cloak, blank face. He might as well have been carved of chalk. She walked beside him in silence, skirts whispering. In the corridors other ladies passed, whispering behind their hands. Word of Lord Stark's fall from hand to traitor had spread like wildfire, and their silken pity cut deeper than spite. At the fork where the hall of tapestries met the gallery of columns, Varys emerged, robed in lavender silk. He offered a deep bow, his bald scalp gleaming. "My lady, you look radiant despite these gloomy times." She mustered a curtsy. "You are kind, Lord Varys. Kindness is a coin often mistrusted." His smile was lantern light behind gauze, visible yet never truly seen. "Yet let me offer another. If you grow weary, remember despair is a choice. Even the darkest valley has two roads." Before she could puzzle the meaning, Ser Mandon urged her on. Varys watched them leave. Two roads indeed. One widens into wildfire and ash, the other into fields unburnt. He turned, robes whispering down the corridor toward the throne room. Beneath the silk, his heart hammered. Grand Maester Pycelle dozed upright in the small council chamber, gray beard rising and falling like a tide on his chest. Lord Commander Barristan Selmy stood by the shuttered window, silent, armored hands folded together. Lord Peter Baelish inspected a ledger, quill twitching, and Renly Baratheon, still Lord of Storm's End, yet styling himself a man of importance greater than his office, paced in long strides, emerald cloak flaring. The council waited upon the king, and upon the queen, and upon the dawn of disaster none yet foresaw. Renly broke the hush. "We should forego the morning session. Deciding the color of next month's tourney ribbons can wait until..." The chamber doors groaned open. Joffrey swept in, Cersei upon his heels, and Tyrion Lannister a half-step behind, looking for all the world like a sparrow amid vultures. Cersei's jade earrings swung as she surveyed the council, chin high. Varys slid into his seat at the table's foot, folding his hands. "Let us proceed," the queen said. The meeting droned toward tedium, port fees in Gulltown, quarrels among the river lords, while Joffrey fidgeted, tapping a gold-capped finger upon the oaken armrest. He plucked a sugared cherry from the silver bowl beside him and chewed noisily. Sweetness burst on his tongue, but a subtle bitterness lingered, thin as dust. He ignored it, reached for another. Across the table, Varys watched each bite. Baelish smirked at a private jest. Tyrion thrust questions about grain levies like daggers, but his mismatched eyes kept flicking to Joffrey, concern flickering beneath mockery. Halfway through a debate on Bronn's latest brawl, sweat purled upon Joffrey's brow. He swallowed hard. The hall spun. A sudden coughing fit seized him. Cersei reached in alarm, but he waved her off, face blotched scarlet. My throat," he rasped. Pycelle lurched to his feet, beard swaying. "Your grace, shall I summon?" Joffrey staggered. Cherries and spittle sprayed across the table. A spasm bent him double. He fell, striking the marble. Cersei screamed. Renly lurched forward. Tyrion vaulted from his chair, shouting for water. Varys remained seated, hands folded. Only when Cersei wailed his name did he rise and glide to her side. Word spread through the Red Keep in breaths and heartbeats. Bells tolled a frantic peal. Kitchens fell silent, corridors clogged with whispering servants, and the gold cloaks barred the gates. In the Tower of the Hand, Stark men under guard listened to the bells, fearful. In the cells beneath the castle, Ned Stark lifted his head as the iron-bound door creaked, and the jailer's torch cast shuddering light. "What news?"
"Ned crooked, tro.
The jailer spat. "They say the boy king's taken ill." Ned's heart stumbled. Illness, not victory. Yet even a spring rain could become a flood. He closed his eyes, prayed to the old gods, prayed the sound of bells might one day ring for peace, not death. Pycelle declared it a sudden ague, yet the old man's hands shook as he wiped froth from the dead boy's lips. The council dispersed in chaos. Renly demanding guards, Littlefinger vanishing into torchlit halls, Barristan calling for a cordon about the royal chambers. Cersei clutched Joffrey's body, bloodless face a mask of grief twisted by rage. Tyrion laid a tentative hand upon her shoulder and received a blow that bloodied his lip. "Leave us." In the doorway, Varys lingered long enough to bow. His eyes swept the room. Bed drapes torn, the cherry bowl half spilled, Pycelle's trembling shoulders, and he withdrew, sure as a shadow. Outside the queen's apartments, torchlight painted the walls in shifting amber. Varys ducked into a side corridor, where Littlefinger lounged against a pillar. "Tragic," Baelish murmured. "Our young king, struck down by Qatar in the bloom of youth." His gray-green eyes gleamed. "Some will whisper poison. Whispers are a wind that blows where it wills," Varys replied, voice muzzy with sorrow. "Let us hope they carry nothing flammable." Littlefinger's smile sharpened. "Flammable things make bright fires, my dear spider, and in bright light the clever know where to stand." He tipped an invisible hat and glided into the gloom. Varys waited until the echo of his footsteps faded. Then he exhaled a long, slow breath, feeling the weight leave him, though not the fear. One life, 10,000 spared, perhaps. Yet the game begins anew. In the grand sept of Baelor, lined with flickering candles, High Septon Belgrave received the news upon his knees. He laced his fat fingers, eyes lifting to the domed ceiling where painted stars glimmered. "A king's death is the god's will," he intoned later, before a dozen lords called hastily to council. "Grieve, yet heed their purpose. The realm must be shepherded." But already letters flew on raven wings toward Casterly Rock, Riverrun, Highgarden. Some bore seals cracked in haste, words hastier still. Joffrey dead, fever. Myrcella named heir. For now, Queen seeks regency. Secure your forces. Storm may break. At sunset, the small folk of King's Landing gathered outside the Red Keep gates. Rumor rippled. Some claimed poison from Dornish spies, others a Targaryen curse. The butchers of the Street of Sisters gave odds, and the whores prayed for a kind prince to replace the cruel boy. Varys walked among them in ragpicker's guise, listening. So far, the word civil war had not crossed their lips. Not yet. Cersei refused to leave her son's side for 2 days. Maester Pycelle prepared salts and ointments to stave corruption, yet she summoned no embalmers. She slept on the marble beside the bed, golden hair unbound. When Tywin's raven arrived, she tore the parchment unread. On the third dawn, Ser Barristan entered. He knelt, white cloak pooling. "Your Grace, the council begs audience. The realm stands leaderless." Her voice was dry as dust. "Myrcella will be crowned. It must be declared, and a regent named." She rose, red-rimmed eyes blazing. "I will rule until my daughter comes of age. Any who defy me will find half the gold of Casterly Rock arrayed at their gates." Yet behind Barristan stood Tyrion, Renly, Varys, and Pycelle. Not a single nod answered her threat. That evening the small council met in the Queen's ballroom, torches flaring high. Varys slipped in last, silent. A hush blanketed the marble hall. Cersei stood at the table's head, clad in mourning black, Myrcella beside her in pale lavender. The girl's eyes brimmed, but her chin rose, proud and frightened both. "My daughter shall be queen." Cersei's words rang like sword strokes. "The crown passes to her unmarred." Renly cleared his throat. "A difficult claim. Some lords will argue the throne passes to Tommen, being male and nearer wedge of birth. Others might question the circumstances of Joffrey's passing." Silence. Then Littlefinger laughed softly. "Better to secure the claim while talk is cheap, your grace. Show a strong hand now. Gossip dies of starvation." Tyrion added, "Bar the hand's tower, scatter extra gold cloaks, and host a lavish funeral. Grief turns daggers into prayers. Display sorrow and strength both." Cersei studied him, eyes dark as tarnished bronze. "And you wish a regent appointed." "The realm wishes stability," Varys purred. "Storms gather across the narrow sea. Robb Stark massed in the Riverlands. Stannis and Renly restless. A queen of 9 toes cannot wear iron spurs. She must walk upon a carpet laid by those who love her." "Love," Cersei echoed. "A useless word in King's Landing." "Yet fear alone births rebellion," Varys replied. At length Cersei exhaled, shoulders sagging. "Very well. A regency council. 7 voices." Eyes flicked round the table, counting. Varys inclined his head, though in his chest a chill coiled. 7 voices, but whose? And how many daggers behind each? That night, Varys descended to the tunnels beneath the Red Keep, torch in hand. Puffs of dust danced in the light as he walked the secret passages. At a narrow archway he paused. Ash-scented air crept from within. The vault beyond stored jars of wildfire, sealed since Aerys' reign. He traced a finger across the archfire, remembers names. Poison forgets. He turned away. The flames he had feared might scorch the realm were stayed, for now. But the embers simmered still. Tywin's pride, Stannis' claim, Stark vengeance, Frey perfidy. Joffrey's death had cut one string from the puppet tangle, yet many more knotted. Peace is a tapestry woven each hour, and unraveled each heartbeat. He could not rest. Tonight he would send ravens north and south, urging calm, promising coin, weaving new alliances. Tomorrow he would counsel mercy to the queen, soften the small council, and whisper paths toward a coronation unmarred by blood. And in the quiet moments he would remember the taste of sugared cherries on a dead boy's lips, and wonder how many lives one spider's hand had bought or doomed. Outside the city, a harvest moon climbed over the Bay of Crabs. Fishermen cast nets that sparkled silver. Septons sang over distant campfires. Wolves howled beyond the Kingswood. The great will turned, indifferent, as men plotted and prayed. And somewhere in Flea Bottom, a girl named Nelka slept curled in a loft, her hands stained crimson by cherries but washed clean of crystal dust. She dreamed of palaces built of sugar, where no one ever raised a hand in anger and every child wore silken slippers. Yet dreams, like peace, are fragile things. The bells of Baelor tolled again at dawn, summoning all to witness the lying-in state of the boy who had been king for a breath, tyrant for a heartbeat, and now corpse forever. On their peal rode the promise of calm and the prophecy of chaos both. An echo Varys alone could hear, counting each chime like steps upon a blade's edge. He would walk that edge, quills for toeholds and secrets for balance, until the realm lay safe, or until he, too, fell into silence. Thus the first day ended. Joffrey Baratheon dead, Myrcella poised upon a crown too heavy for her brow, and Varys, the master of whisperers, feeling the faintest chill of winter creep along his spine. The Game of Thrones had not died with the cruel boy. It had merely shifted, like a serpent shedding skin. But for one brief hour, no armies marched, no banners burned, and the streets of King's Landing echoed only with bells, not screams. And that, for Varys, was enough. For now, Tyrion Lannister stood beneath the soaring vault of the great September of Baelor, while dawnlight filtered through colored glass and painted ruby pools across white marble. Joffrey's bier lay at the center on a slab of polished oak, the boy king embalmed in crimson velvet sewn with golden lions, sword folded across his chest as though, in death, he could be trusted not to strike. Incense coiled upward in pale ropes that stung Tyrion's eyes, though whether from smoke or memory he could not be certain. Around the bier silent septons tended candles, replacing each guttering flame before it died. They worked like ghosts, lids half lowered, bare feet whispering on stone. Tyrion counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then lost track as bells outside told a mournful dirge. An hour from now the doors would open to the gathered realm. Lords in cloth of gold, ladies in sable, small folk pressed shoulder to shoulder hoping to glimpse a corpse they had cursed in life. But in this moment he was alone save for a distant echo of steps and the relentless tolling. He drew closer. Joff's face had been powdered pale, lips painted faint rose so they seemed almost warm. Yet no amount of paint could soften the line of his mouth, forever fixed in petulant disdain, nor smooth the faint bruise along his jaw where his chin had struck the table in his last spasm. Tyrion leaned on his cane. "You died quicker than you lived, nephew." His whisper vanished beneath the bells. "And yet the trouble you sowed may outlive us all." He half expected the corpse to sneer back, but the lips did not curl. The eyes lay shut beneath jeweled lids. Tyrion exhaled, felt the incense burn through his nose, and turned away. Outside the sept, the city thrummed to strange new rhythms. Soldiers lined the street from the mud gate to the hill of Rainies, halberds bright beneath sun. The gold cloaks wore fresh-scrubbed mail, but Tyrion saw how fingers tensed around pole shafts, how gazes flickered side to side. In taverns, the small folk whispered that a poisoner stalked the Red Keep. In brothels, they wagered whether Myrcella or Tommen would wear the next crown. Meanwhile, black sails with gilded krakens rode the Blackwater, and rumors of iron-born raids in the Reach drifted upriver on trader tongues. Tyrion's path took him through the market round the Great September, where carts unloaded bolts of scarlet wool for the morning banners. A girl no bigger than a doll slipped from the press and tugged his sleeve. "Lord, a token." She thrust a silk carnation into his free hand and darted off. Tyrion twirled the bloom, noting the fine weave, the faint scent of orange blossom oil. A message, then, though in whose hand he could not guess. For now, he tucked it beneath his cloak. At the Tower of the Hand, Renly Baratheon lounged in the solar, boots propped upon a cushioned stool. Evening green and gold trimmed his doublet, though a black sash showed public grief. He rose when Tyrion entered, smile bright as a whetstone flash. "Brother of mine by marriage," Renly greeted. "The gods send you early. Join me?" The vintage is arbor red, 10 years casked, older than our late king. Tyrion poured one-finger measure, enough to taste but not to dull. "I prefer to keep my wits keen today." Renly's eyes flicked to the door. "You'll need them." Lord Tywin arrives by daybreak, 3,000 riders ahead, 3,000 behind, and twice that number on the King's Road. Tyrion sipped. "He means to remind us who truly holds the purse." Renly laughed softly. "And the sword. Queen Cersei's claim on regency dims when her father crosses the Riverlands. But Tywin is not the only shark in these waters. Word from Highgarden. My brother Stannis calls the banners at Dragonstone, claims bastardy for Cersei's brood. Ser Davos sails with letters to every lord." Tyrion grimaced. "I had hoped Stannis would stew longer. He stews best, but once he rises he Rikes. And I?" Renly raised his brows. "I would rather feast than stew. Highgarden whispers my name sweetly. A younger brother with the love of the Reach, the Stormlands, and perhaps the Riverlands if Edmure can be charmed." Tyrion set his cup aside. "I admire ambition clothed in silk rather than steel, but you forget another player, the North." Renly waved a hand. "Robb Stark marches the trident, yet winter keeps him busy. He wants his sisters, not a crown. Offer Arya, he may bend the knee." Tyrion flinched. "Arya is gone." The girl slipped from the city months past. As for Sansa, he swallowed, remembering a tear-streaked face across a training yard. "Her value grows when treated well. Yes, the maiden wolf." Renly's smile softened. "But treat any hostage gently, and she may forget she's a leash." A knock interrupted. Varys glided in, lavender robes whispering. "My lords." He bowed. "News stirs as wind stirs autumn leaves." Tyrion gestured. "Speak, spider." Varys folded delicate hands. "Lord Tywin's outriders crossed the trident at dawn. Ravens from Dorne speak of Prince Doran's interest in a certain marriage pact. Myrcella betrothed to Prince Trystane may prove a balm to tempers hot as Dornish sand." His eyes slid to Renly. "And a swift gull arrives from Storm's End declaring Lord Stannis righteous king of Westeros, by light of the Seven and flame of R'hllor both." Renly chuckled. "Flame of R'hllor? My brother toys with red priests now." "A red priestess," Varys corrected, voice mild as milk. "A woman named Melisandre of Ass High." Tyrion's mind raced. Dorne's hand for Myrcella could spare us a Dornish war and by Cersei favor. Yet Tywin hates to surrender pawns. Renly drained his cup. "And Stannis's declaration forces mine. The realm will not abide 2 kings, much less 3. Varys inclined his head. "Choose your hour wisely, my lord. Ravens fly swift, but swords swifter." He turned to Tyrion. "His Grace's funeral draws near. The Queen requests your counsel." Tyrion stiffened. "A council of knives." Cobweb-soft laughter escaped Varys. "Knives may cut, yet they also carve paths when properly guided." "Come?" Within Maegor's holdfast, Queen Cersei paced her son's bedchamber, where the air still smelled of camphor and wilted roses. Myrcella sat on a cushioned bench, hands folded, eyes fixed on a window slit framing a gray sky. Tommen crouched at her knee, clutching Ser Pounce to his chest. The kitten purred, oblivious to mortal stakes. Ser Boros Blunt stood guard at the door. Ser Meryn Trant leaned by the hearth, helm tucked beneath an arm. Neither dared speak as Cersei turned when Tyrion entered beside Varys. Her green eyes, dark from sleeplessness, settled on her brother. Tommen will sit the Iron Throne until my daughter is wed and crowned. Tyrion bowed. A wise course. A boy might be guided. A girl may yet be spared the clawed seat until grown. Cersei's lip curled. Spared? You think the realm will spare her? Stannis calls her bastard. Renly means to usurp. Tywin, she bit the word, will parade me as puppet to his gold.
Tyrion chose silence.
Myrcella's chin quivered, but she subdued it, straightening. Mother, I am ready to do my duty. A pang struck Tyrion. Pride, sorrow, dread. She looked so like her mother at that age, but kinder-eyed. Cersei knelt, smoothing the girl's hair. You will marry Trystane Martell. The words fell like dice. Dorne's spear will point outward, not toward us, and your throne will be safe. Tommen remains king in form to ease the lords. I will rule until he comes of age. Tyrion cleared his throat. Until Tywin arrives. Cersei's glare could melt glass. You would yield my child to Dorne? Dornish snake pit. Snakes bite enemies, not mates. When well handled, Tyrion met her stare. And a Martell alliance removes one flank when others rise. Myrcella's voice barely above whisper. I will go, mother. Cersei closed her eyes, grief carving deeper lines than age. Varys stepped forward, robes rustling. A grand escort should ride at first light. The small council will draft terms. 80 knights, 100 men-at-arms, and Ser Aerys Oakheart appointed shield to the princess. Aerys, Cersei's brows lifted. She looked from Varys to Tyrion. Why not Ser Boros? Ser Aerys is well regarded among Dornish courts, Varys said smoothly. His courtesy is famed, his sword untested in petty quarrel. Ser Boros is less graceful in halls of silk.
Ser Boros shifted uncomfortably, stifling a belch.
Tyrion pressed. A show of respect will go further than steel. Cersei hesitated, then nodded once, sharp as a sword snap. Very well. Draft your terms, Spider. But know this, if harm comes to my daughter, I will burn Dorne to smoking glass. Varys bowed low. I serve the realm, your grace, and the realm thrives on peace. Peace, Tyrion mused, is a crumb between lions' jaws. That night, King's Landing glowed with candle lanterns as thousands queued to gaze upon the Boy King's bier. Music drifted from 100 taverns. Yet from the riotous pleasure 1 month earlier, the city had settled into wary hush. Gold cloaks patrolled a torchlit perimeter round the sept, armor jangling like morose tambourines. Tyrion slipped past them to an anteroom where Lord Baelish awaited beside a shuttered window. A faint sea breeze stirred his thin beard. Littlefinger pressed a parchment into Tyrion's hand. Accounts from Gulltown smugglers. Wildfire shipments vanish from warehouses. Lord Haleen refuses to disclose stock numbers even to the hand that will be. Should Lord Tywin name you? Tyrion frowned. Wildfire under the Alchemist's Guild was ever counted monthly. Not since your dear sister installed loyalists. Baelish's smile remained placid. Cersei arms herself with green fire while speaking the words of peace. Tyrion's gut turned leaden. I must see Haleen. Do. Baelish clasped hands behind his back. Meanwhile, Stannis's letters stir Dragonstone. Flint, Celtigar, Valerion declare for him. Tarth yet hesitates, Ser Brian Caron too. A deft purse may pull them another way. You mean your purse? And your father's? Baelish bowed theatrically. But we both know whose toad I am. Tyrion pocketed the scroll. You leap lily pads faster than any frog. Baelish grinned wider, eyes harmless as pennies, voice gentle as pinned wings. Spread coin where loyalty is cheap, dear Tyrion, and you may hold this city when dragons come. Dragons. Tyrion thought of Daenerys Targaryen across the sea. A rumor made flesh by spies, yet still rumor enough to haunt nights quiet. 3 dragons no larger than dogs, but dragons nonetheless. If they lived to fly, he shook the thought, I would rather hold the city when kings come. Too many are already on their way. Lord Tywin's column reached the city under banners red and gold studded with ruby sun glare. Dust frothed round hooves, trumpets brayed. Crossbowmen marched double file behind knights in rows engraved plate. The gates swung wide. Small folk lined the streets, cheering, for food thrown from wagons, not from love of lions. At their head rode Tywin beneath a gilded helmet crowned by a snarling lion's head. Beside him Kevan Lannister, stern as a septon, and behind them a baggage train heavy with barrels stamped rock honey and casterly corn. Cersei received him in the outer yard with Myrcella and Tommen. When Tywin dismounted, dwarfing even Ser Adam Marbrand beside him, he removed the lion helmet and pressed a kiss to Cersei's brow. Ceremony, nothing more. His pale green eyes swept the keep, took inventory of walls, guards, banners. Satisfied, he folded gauntlets under one arm. We dine privately, he told Cersei. The small council this evening. The city tomorrow. The realm soon. Tyrion observed from a balcony. He sensed the invisible shift when his father crossed the threshold. A warlord's gravity bending every lesser will. The gold cloak straightened. Servants bowed deeper. Even Varys, drifting up a stair, paused as though adjusting unseen threads. At table that night, Tywin listened while Cersei spoke of Myrcella's betrothal, the need for Dornish peace, Tommen's regency. He stirred his wine once. Finally he spoke. Tommen will rule. I will serve as hand until he comes of age. Myrcella will wed Trystane when she reaches 12. Cersei stiffened. You mean to take my place? I mean to protect my grandchildren, Tywin said, voice as flat as an axe head. And my legacy. You have played queen, now play mother. A role you have neglected. She paled but held his gaze. I will not be set aside. Then do not step aside. Sit beside the throne, Tywin allowed. Speak sweetly when counsel is sought. Leave the realm's teeth to me. Tyrion watched the exchange, sipping slowly. Then Tywin's eyes slid to him. And you, imp, you will oversee the city's defense. If Stannis sails by river, see that he burns before he lands. If Renly rides north, break his alliances before he reaches the gates. Use coin, wit, wildfire, whatever tool suits. Tyrion inclined his head. As you command, father. His mind ticked counts of absent wildfire jars and absent trust. Tywin leaned back. I have posted ravens to Riverrun. Lord Edmure will send 1,000 archers. Lord Frey 500. Lord Giles row galleys upriver. None stand idle. Cersei drank deeply. Her eyes shone. Tyrion wondered whether tears or wine sparked the glint. She set the cup down. And what of Robb Stark? Tywin's mouth barely moved. Robb Stark will break against Harrenhal's walls before winter. Silence hung. Tyrion thought of Harrenhal's blackened towers, curses thick as mortar. His father's confidence felt like walking barefoot across coals. The ground unsteady, heat rising through soul and bone. Under starlight, Varys crossed the dry moat of Maegor's holdfast to a sally port unlocked with a silver key. Torchlight flickered in the tunnel beyond, but no guard awaited. He followed the narrow steps downward until the air cooled, damp and sharp with brine. Here the walls sweated, the floor sloped. At a rust-eaten door he gave 3 taps, paused, 2 taps. Bolts slid. An old woman with milky eyes beckoned him inside. The chamber beyond lay shaped like a half-egg, ceiling low, walls glazed with salt crystals. A single oil lamp hung from a hook. Beneath it, Prince Oberyn Martell reclined on a low bench, boots off, feet bare. He looked up, a faint smile teasing. Ah, the spider comes to spin. Varys bowed. The spider would see no lambs devoured. Lambs? Oberyn rose lithe as a whip. Myrcella is a lamb to you. To me, she is bride for my nephew. Lamb she may be, but a lamb can carry future lions inside her. Varys kept his face serene. Lion cubs raised beneath Dornish sun learn better to play gentle or they perish of heat. You will have your bride, my prince, if you guarantee a Dornish host to guard the princess en route. Oberyn circled him. You barter with another's daughter. I barter with peace. A spear pointed outward or inward, choose. The viper laughed softly. If quarrel I desired, I would bring 10,000 spears north. But quarrel with whom? The world of men drowns in quarrel. He halted, eyes hard. Give me Myrcella, unharmed, unbroken, and Dorne will not raise banners for Stannis nor Renly. We will watch, observe. A spider's art, no? Varys exhaled. It was as much as he could win. 3 days hence, the escort departs. Oberyn clapped his hands. Then let us toast the bargain. He produced a wineskin, uncorked, poured into 2 tin cups. Varys raised his, sipped, tasted a bite of lime and smoke. Wine of Karth, rare, expensive, laced perhaps with secrets of its own. Oberyn drank deep. To lambs who forge peace while wolves and lions bare teeth. Varys set his empty cup aside. To girls becoming queens, and boys growing wiser than their fathers. Oberyn's smile sharpened. May the gods be kinder than men. 3 nights later, a cold drizzle swept King's Landing. Streets turned to mud, and tavern fires hissed with damp. In the Alchemist's Guildhall, Tyrion met with Wisdom Haleen amid a clutter of bronze stills and casks sealed in green wax. Haleen's beard bore scorched scars. His fingers twitched. He showed Tyrion a ledger, numbers scrawled in cramped script. Stores sufficient to ignite every ship from here to Dragonstone, he boasted. Plus 300 jars missing. Tyrion's pulse quickened. Missing, allocated to the crown. Whose hand? The alchemist gulped. Queen Cersei's, under her seal. 20 jars to the stables, 30 to the granaries, the rest. He swallowed again. Red keeps subcellars. She installs kettles as you or I would place lanterns. Tyrion closed the ledger. Too many candles and the house will burn. Haleen scratched his neck, eyes bright with fanatic gleam. Fire is the purest light, my lord. Light does not choose its targets once unleashed. Tyrion thrust the book back. No more deliveries without my writ signed and sealed. Any attempt otherwise, you come to me. Haleen's smile faltered. Her grace will blame you for the first spark. The alchemist bowed shakily. Wisdom obeys. Exiting into rain, Tyrion muttered curses at his sister, at Wildfire, at the gods who gifted madness. Lightning cracked over the river. He imagined distant thunder as drums of war. Behind him, the Guildhall door clanged shut like an iron jaw. By dawn, Myrcella's escort gathered in the outer yard. Shining helms, banners of Lannister crimson quartered with Martell red and orange sunburst, wagons stacked with jeweled chests. Ser Ares Oakhart sat horsefront in newly polished white armor, plumes streaming in wind. Myrcella, cloaked in blue trimmed with pale fox fur, kissed her mother goodbye. Cersei held her a moment too long, eyes rimmed red yet dry.
Tommen snifled, clutching Ser Ponce.
Tyrion, astride a stout bay, guided his horse close to the princess. Remember, he murmured, Dorne is hot but its people warm. Speak soft, listen well, learn their tongues, and keep a northern heart. She smiled bravely. Trumpets blew. The gate yawned. Wheels creaked. Hooves clattered. And the columns streamed down Aegon's high hill into the waking city. Children chased the wagons. Some called blessings, others threw rotten peels. Above, gulls cried and clouds shredded pink on rising sun. Varys watched from the eastern wall, expression unreadable. He noted the position of each guard, each flank scout. He watched until the banners vanished beyond the Lion Gate, swallowed by dust. Then he turned, robe whispering, and descended to the city below where new fires waited to be quenched before they blazed. Far to the north, at Riverrun, Robb Stark paced a drafty hall strewn with maps. Catelyn sat by the hearth darning a child's glove. The habit calmed her, though the child who wore it would never again. Lord Blackfish Brynden leaned on the sill, watching gray water swirl. A messenger pressed into the hall, cloak soaked, hair streaming. He knelt, extended a scroll. Robb cracked the seal. The Lion of Lannister quartered with Stag of King's Landing. Scanning, he cursed low. Joffrey is dead. Catelyn froze, needle poised. Brynden turned. And the realm. Tempest. Robb handed the letter across. Ink smear blurred edges. Tommen crowned, Tywin marching. Myrcella bound for Dorne. Stannis and Renly each claim Iron Throne. Brynden smiled wryly. A snake pit devours itself. Robb's jaw tightened. A snake pit may still strike outward. He traced quills across the map. If Tywin marches east to break Stannis or Renly, the Riverlands breathe easier, but if he turns north, then we meet Tywin at Moat Cailin, Catelyn finished, or hold him south of the Trident. But perhaps there is another path. Robb looked up. Send peace, she urged. Exchange Sansa for Jaime. Jaime for my sisters? An even trade. Tywin may refuse. Brynden stroked his beard. And the Kingslayer is coin too valuable to part with lightly. Robb laid both hands flat on the table. Yet coin unspent buys no bread. I will send terms. If Tywin rejects them, the North remembers. At Storm's End, thunder shook stone as Stannis Baratheon paced the round table in the great hall. Melisandre, red silk clinging as flame, watched him with eyes like coal embers. Ser Davos Seaworth stood at his shoulder, salt-streaked beard dripping rainwater after a ride from the docks. Scrolls lay scattered, answered, unanswered, some torn, some singed. No reply from Storm's End vassals? Stannis demanded. Caron delays, Selmy uncertain. Tarth. Davos hesitated. Lord Selwyn stands divided. His daughter still captive in the capital. Melisandre stepped forward. The Lord of Light burns away doubt. Those who follow Stannis shall walk his shining path. Stannis clenched jaw. My path ends on the Iron Throne or nowhere. He snatched a scroll, thrust it toward Davos. This from White Harbor, Lord Manderly offers ships if I swear concession of trading rights. I cede nothing until crowned. Davos's lips pressed thin. A crown cannot sit on a drowned head, your grace. Ships win wars. Stannis's glare could strip bark. I will have loyalty, not barter. Melisandre smiled. Loyalty may be forged in shadow. Stannis turned away. Too many shadows. I need swords. The sword of fire is yours, your grace, she whispered. Only say the word. In Highgarden, Renly's pavilion shone white and green by torchlit roses. Ser Loras Tyrell removed his helm, hair damp with practiced sweat. My father rallies banners, 30,000 from reach, perhaps more. They will ride whichever road you pave. Renly poured wine into 2 cups. A road paved in gold blossoms. He drank, wiped his mouth. If Tywin holds King's Landing and Stannis presses Blackwater Bay, we strike through the Kingswood, take the city in a pincer. With Highgarden grain, we feed the streets before Tywin's supply lines close. The small folk will hail me savior. Loras accepted the cup. And if Tywin holds the gates, gold cloaks follow the fattest purse. Mine jingles sweeter. Page pushed inside, breathless. Ser, a raven. Loras cracked the seal. Harrenhal crest. He scanned, eyes widening. Lord Peter Baelish offers terms. Harrenhal for alliance. Coin for marriage between you and Lady Marjorie. He swears kingship is within reach. Renly laughed. Within reach when promised by the world's longest fingers. Baelish trades secrets as smiths trade nails, but nails hold kingdoms. He tapped the parchment. Send him our regards, and invite him to taste Highgarden's wine. Loras's smile warmed. We gather roses, my king. Renly drew him close. We gather the realm. Tonight, let the world sleep. Tomorrow we ride. Back in King's Landing, Tyrion bent over a map table in his dim solar. Candles dripped wax towers. Bronn lounged in a corner sharpening a dagger. "Ships?" Tyrion muttered. "We need more ships." Lord Valerion sides with Stannis, the High Towers with Renly, but the Ironborn will raid any coast unguarded. Bronn tested the dagger's edge on a thumb. Gold buys ships and sells loyalty. Tyrion jabbed the map. Send emissary to Lord Alistair Florent. Stannis' corner might wobble if his wife's kin shift. Bronn smirked. That'll please Stannis. I live to please. Tyrion turned to parchment. We must also feed the city. Grain from the Reach is cut. Riverlands pillaged. Dorne may send oranges but no bread. Where to find stores? Buy from Tyrosh Volantis. Coin is thin. Tyrion rubbed temples. Yet smell of bread quells riot longer than swords. Bronn sheathed the dagger. Take the bread from Duskendale granaries. Duskendale is Lannister-leaning but inland. The roads peppered with bandits. Still an idea. A knock. Podrick Payne stepped in, nervous. "Am my lord, a rider from Harrenhal."
Urgent.
"Send him." Podrick ushered a mud-splashed messenger who bowed, handed a folded square. Tyrion snapped the seal. It bore chain links interwoven, Maester Qyburn's mark. Inside, a single line. "The dead do not always stay silent." Tyrion frowned. Cryptic. He read again. Could be gossip of necromancy Qyburn pursued. Could be warning. He tucked it into his doublet. "Thank you, Pod. Feed him. Send him on."
Pod retreated.
Bronn eyed Tyrion. "Sounds like you've got corpses talking." "Corpses? Kings? What's the difference?" Tyrion sighed. "Sometimes they both stink." That same night, Varys stood upon the ramparts watching the last of Myrcella's escort torches fade beyond the forest line. Rain pattered his bald head. Thoughts rolled like thunder. Tywin's arrival shifting power, Cersei's wildfire caches, Stannis' Red Woman. He weighed each in silence until a small voice tugged his sleeve. Nelka, the little sparrow, wet hair plastered to cheeks, held out a folded note. He knelt. "What have you, sweetling?" Her eyes darted. "A man with twisty beard paid me to give this to the queen." Varys gently removed the parchment, pressed a copper star into her palm. "You are a good girl. Run now, warm yourself." She vanished into gloom. Varys unfolded the note. 2 words. "Blackwater tonight."
No signature.
His heart quickened. Blackwater, river or bay. Tonight meaning hours. He tucked the parchment in his sleeve and descended the steps. Ghost quiet. Lanterns guttered as he passed. If fire or dagger threatened the city, he must know. First the docks, then the granaries. He only prayed the wind held. Wildfire and wind made poor bedfellows. On the Blackwater, a mist like torn silk drifted. 2 figures guided a skiff among pilings below the ruined chain tower. One rowed. The other clutched a wicker crate between booted knees. "Faster," hissed the second. "The tide turns soon." "Current's tricky," the rower muttered. "You want our gift dashed on pylons?" They reached a narrow arch where water gurgled. A rope ladder dangled. The crate holder swung aboard, hauled the prize onto a ledge. Inside, clay jars sloshed faintly. He passed 3 jars to the rower, who nestled them in dinghy straw. "Next run at moon's zenith," he whispered. "Alchemist's mark ensures burn." The rower spat. "Burn the lion. Burn the spider. Burn them all." With a push, he drifted back into fog. Above, the smuggler slipped inside the chain tower, winding stairs upward toward an alcove used once by centuries long gone. He placed the jars there, lit no torch, and retreated. None saw him. Only rats fled his footsteps. Yet a shadow on the opposite bank shifted. Varys, disguised in dockhand rags, watched through drizzle. His pulse hammered. Wildfire set by unknown hands. He slipped away to raise alarm, but softly, softly. Some fires must be smothered before words fan sparks. Morning broke with a red sun. Clouds frayed like banners after battle. In the throne room, Tywin sat the high seat while Tommen, barely tall enough, perched on a velvet pillow set upon the Iron Throne's cruel spikes. Ser Meryn read a proclamation naming Tywin Protector of the Realm, Cersei Queen Regent, and small council seats confirmed. Varys as Master of Whisperers, Baelish of Coin, Haleen of King's Fire, Alchemist newly raised. Tyrion retained no title outward, yet Tywin's glance fixed him constant. When the hall emptied, Tywin beckoned him near. "You will root out traitors. I smell conspiracy. Wildfire missing, grain hoarded, docks watched. Find the hands that move unseen." Tyrion bowed. "I have eyes. Eyes are nothing. Use teeth." He left his father and outside exhaled long. Teeth he had, jaws he lacked, but wits that he wielded. He summoned Bronn, Pod, sent ravens to Duskendale, to White Harbor, to Sunspear. Threads wove, but the tapestry frayed as fast. Nearing dusk, a squire sprinted into the council chamber where Tyrion drafted a memorandum concerning grain tariffs. "My lord," an explosion by the docks. Tyrion leapt up, quill falling. "Where?" "The chain tower, south side, green fire. Wildfire." Tyrion's worst fear gained claws. He and Bronn raced down stone stairs 2 at a time, burst into the courtyard where acrid smoke drifted on the wind. From the parapet he saw a plume of emerald flame licking at timbers of a riverside warehouse. Men shouted, forming bucket lines. The water hissed useless. Green tongues splashed across water, igniting oil scum. Ships moored too near caught. Sailors leapt screaming. "7 save us," Bronn muttered, eyes wide. "Not 7 enough," Tyrion said. "Cut anchor lines, push burning hulls back to deeper water. Use sand, not water on the pier." Bronn barked orders. Goldcloak scrambled. Tyrion spotted Varys hurrying from the wharf, robes scorched at the hem. He drew him aside. "Who?" "I saw 2 men unload jars," Varys panted. "Sails black, no heraldry. They fled upriver." Tyrion's stomach clenched. "An attack in cradle of our harbor. They test our strength." He turned to see flames snuffed by sand at last. Only 1 warehouse lost, but 3 fishing skiffs ash. The chain tower smoldered. A warning, not crippling. Yet tomorrow could be worse. Tyrion wiped sweat from brow blackened by soot. "Send riders along the river. Any ship anchored unmarked is seized." Varys nodded. "And the jars already placed within the city?" Tyrion stared. "What jars?" "The ones missing from the guild," Varys murmured. "Some may sleep beneath granaries, some beneath stables. Whose hand placed them? We must discover tonight, or risk King's Landing lighting the sky." The thought chilled Tyrion deeper than river wind. He dragged fingers through hair, leaving streaks of ash. "Search the cellars. Quietly. Bronn, pick men who fear coin loss more than fire." Bronn grinned bleakly. "Plenty." He strode off. Tyrion watched green flames sputter out, leaving blackened beams. He imagined the whole city so: towers of human torches, the red keep a pyre, bells melted. He shivered. 1 poisonous boy had died to save the realm. But how many more must fall to keep it breathing? Night spread, and with it rumor. Some blamed Stannis. Some swore ghost of mad King Aerys had returned. Others whispered the Prince of Dragons in the east commanded green fire by sorcery. Tyrion climbed to his solar, sat before a blank parchment. He dipped quill, hesitated, then wrote a single line. "The city is tinder. Seek water before sparks." Below he signed T. He would send copies to Tywin, to Cersei, to anyone whose ear might bend. Yet he feared even words might burn if read too late. Across the narrow sea, in the great plaza of Qarth, Daenerys Targaryen held a hatchling dragon upon her arm as merchants scurried like ants before a storm. The creature hissed, tiny flame licking berries from her palm. She smiled, feeling heat gentle as a hearth. "One day," she whispered in Valyrian, "you will breathe fire enough to shatter stone." A shadow passed over her. She glanced skyward. A red comet, faint now but still trailing silver-brushed flame. Her Khalasar gathered behind, wary of city folk. Ser Jorah Mormont stepped close. "Word spreads," he murmured. "Westeros fractures. Boy King dead, brothers at war, lions in turmoil." Daenerys looked west, though only a marble wall barred her view. Fractures may become cracks. Cracks become doorways. She stroked the dragon's scales. When the world is weakest, dragons fly best.
Ser Jorabaud.
Then we wait for weakness? We forge it, she said softly. Somewhere beyond salty haze, ships burned on a foreign river. She did not yet know, but she felt shifting winds. One day soon she would raise sail, and across the sea, wildfire green might meet dragonfire red, painting night brighter than any dawn. In King's Landing, a final ember of green died with a hiss at water's edge. Smoke drifted above the city, mingling with low clouds, concealing the stars. Varys, watching from a roof, traced constellations in memory alone. The spider, the maiden, the crown. The latter sparkled brightest in his mind, yet he wondered how long before its jeweled points shattered under fire. He drew his cloak tighter, descended to the alley, and vanished among shadows where whispers bred. Tyrion, sleepless, paced his solar until candle stubs puddled wax. He thought of histories where folly ignited realms. Field of Fire, Dance of Dragons, Defiance of Duskendale. Each began with pride, ended with ash. He vowed the pattern would break here, or at least that he would die trying. He stopped at the narrow window facing the river, inhaled scent of charred docks. Somewhere below, water lapped hulls like a lullaby. Somewhere beyond, armies marched. In the heart of the city, green jars slumbered. He whispered a silent prayer to any god polite enough to listen. Then he returned to his desk, dipped quill, and began drafting new orders. And thus another night in the capital settled, precarious as a blade balanced on a spider's thread. The realm held by plots within plots, fires banked yet smoldering, while across fields and seas new fires kindled. Joffrey's death had bought the realm a breath, but breath alone could not still a storm. The wind gathered, and dawn would judge who had strength to stand when the first drops fell. The wind clawed down from the Blackwater and rattled the shutters of Tyrion's solar like a child begging entry, but he paid the clatter no heed. Dawn had not yet broken. Only a thin indigo teased the eastern sky, and candle fat guttered in brass cups about the desk where he labored. Stacks of orders, requisitions, and coded letters spilled across the oak like bones tumbled from a crypt. His eyes burned from ink fumes and sleepless hours, yet still he scrawled. Names of shipwrights to be bribed, quantities of pitch to be bought, and a curt missive to Lord Alistair Florent hinting at pardons should banners change color. Each stroke felt feeble against the storm gathering beyond the walls, but stroke he must, for survival loved no sluggard. A sharp rap broke his rhythm. Podrick stuck a freckled nose through the door. "Ser Bronn, my lord." The cell's words slid in, mail shirt half-buckled, blade strapped askew, face glistening with sweat though the morning air cut like steel. "Your father wants you on the quay at sunup. Some demonstration." Tyrion raised brows. "Tywin awake before cocks crow? The city may yet end in bedlam." He corked the ink, flexed aching fingers, and donned a heavy crimson cloak. Best see what pomp parade he plots. They crossed the courtyard as torches hissed in the gray. Stable boys hurried new-shod destriers toward the river road. Cooks heaved casks of ale onto wagons. Trumpeters warmed brass with long blows that misted the chill. Beneath the barbican, the smell of fresh tar coiled thick as soup. Tywin Lannister stood on the outer dock flanked by Ser Adam Marbrand, Kevin Lannister, and two maesters scribbling. A long galley bobbed at anchor beyond the river chain, her hull painted red, her prow carved to lion's head glory. Dock workers swarmed, unloading crates stamped Southstone OAK. Each crate, Tyrion noted, bore a slashed sigil of 3 towers, House Mullendor of Uplands, Renly's mild vassal. "Father," Tyrion greeted. "Scavenging another man's lumber?" Tywin's pale eyes flicked across the quay like a frost sweeping a field. confiscated from a Reachman merchant caught smuggling arms to Storm's End. His ships now serve the crown. He gestured to the galley. 3 more behind her, bare hulls, but oars strong. We finish outfitting within the week. With others seized upriver, our fleet doubles. And Halene's wildfire stowed beneath their decks? Tywin's mouth tightened. Your sister's toys remain under lock, meaning his lock. But the river must be ours. Stannis gathers 100 sails at Dragonstone. Renly hires Myrish galleys. Should they join, King's Landing is choked from 2 directions. Tyrion studied the river. Fog still clung, but the first gold of sunrise licked the water. Green streaks from last night's blaze stained pilings, and charred planks floated like black petals. 1 spark of wildfire turned 3 wharves to kindling. 100 jars rode beneath enemy keels will burn half the fleet. Tywin's gauntlet grasped Tyrion's shoulder, an iron weight. Then guard each jar. He released, called to Ser Adam. Ride the men hard. By nightfall I want 20 wagons of timber inside the city. Ser Adam bowed and strode off. Tyrion watched him mount. The small folk starve while we build more war galleys. Grain stores dwindled by half. Wheat cannot defend walls, Tywin snapped. Secure grain after victory. Until then, feed by ration. You wish charge of the city. Accept its hungers. Tyrion bit back reply. He turned as drums rolled. 5 columns of infantry trooped from the mud gate, standards striped red and gold. Their breastplates shone in dawnlight. Yet he saw sagged shoulders, half-full ranks. The Riverlands wars drained bodies faster than lords could levy. And Stannis' call to the faith of the 7 promised zealots to swell his hosts. There were never enough men when kings bred kingdoms like lice. Bronn nudged him. Sailors talk. 3 Bravosi cogs sighted off Massey's hook. No banners, but hulls deep as grain barges. Stannis, reckon? Or yet another trade mission from the Sea Lord sniffing profit from our misery. Tyrion sighed. I need eyes at Storm's End, at Dragonstone, at Highgarden. And spies in Tyrosh to hamper sell-sail hiring. Double pay for any who bring ships manifests. Double pay means coin, Bronn noted. Coin we borrow from the Iron Bank or scrape from Cersei's silks. Gold flows freer than blood so far. Let's keep it thus. Bronn grinned shark-wide. Blood's cheaper in war, but gold still tastes better. He spat over the quay, watched the spit ripple. You've wine breath, Lannister. Sleep rare. Sleep hides when duty prowls. Tyrion massaged his temple. Summon the master mason. I want the chain gate repaired by week's end. Bronn whistled low. A dozen smithies forging links full days? Night 2. Tyrion glanced upriver where the rusted chain tower loomed half-charred. If a fleet breaks us by river, we lock their keels with iron, then torch them ourselves. Better burn our harbor than let Stannis dock swords at the fish market. Tywin overheard, nodded once. An inch of approval more than Tyrion often earned. Beyond the Lion Gate, the kings rode wound north through fields where spring barley once rippled gold. Now patches lay scorched by raiders, and charred stakes marked fresh graves hip-deep. The escort bearing Princess Myrcella made steady pace. Ser Aerys Oakheart in the van, crimson cloaks of House Blunt guarding flanks. By 5th dawn, the columns reached Bitterbridge, where banners of House Caswell drooped damp in morning dew. Lady Lyanna Caswell greeted Myrcella with a curtsy and pressed a wreath of dogwood blossoms into her hands. May flowers guide brave hearts, the lady murmured, though her eyes darted to the men-at-arms like a doe sensing hunters. That night, Aerys posted double watches. At second crow of midnight, riders in black cloaks dashed from the trees, loosing crossbow quarrels. One struck a guard's throat. Another gashed Oakheart's shoulder. The attackers melted into woods after a brief volley, leaving 9 dead, for wounded. Their quarrels bore no crest, but a discarded bolt box etched with a fiery heart told tale enough. Stannis' men, or some zealot sworn to the Red Priestess. When dawn came, Myrcella pressed a kiss upon the brow of each fallen guard, tears drying on dusty cheeks. Oakheart's bandaged arm shook as he saluted. They buried dead at a roadside step of cracked granite, and Marcella placed the dogwood wreath atop the mound. Then the escort moved on southward, slower now, hearts tightened like knots. In King's Landing, word of the attack reached Varys by raven at dusk. He unfolded the parchment in his rain-damp loft, eyes narrowing. Ares wounded, 3 dead spearmen, unmarked foes, perhaps R'hllor. He tapped feathered quill against lip. Stannis' fire touched even peaceful forests. How soon before it crackled along city streets. He penned 2 letters. One in cipher to Oberyn Martell, urging swift cavalry scissors from the Prince's Pass to cover the princess. Another to Tyrion, recommending disguised scouts along the Rose Road. Sealing wax hissed in candle flame. He pressed his ruby spider sigil, rolled parchment, dispatched boys nimble as cats through rain-gleamed alleys. Later, as the moon cleared, Varys donned rough beggar's garb and slipped into the cellars where wildfire jars lurked. Bronze men, lean sellswards reeking of wine, lounged with dice near the steps, but they met his silver with nods and let him pass. He counted jars, 40 here, 20 more behind rusted bars, and chalked symbols upon each, a riddle tally only he understood. If any vanished come morrow, he would know which passage betrayed them. Footfalls echoed faint above, the queen's sandals perhaps, or a cat. Shadows trembled as his candle died. Varys breathed the pitch-sweet air, reckoning dangers. Poison he understood, flames he loathed. Yet here he prowled a forest of bottled dragons, each waiting a spark to hatch. He prayed none but his chosen fires would break glass. Across the reach, Renly Baratheon's host swelled outside Bitterbridge where marigold meadows gave way to trampled earth. Pavilions of rose silk and crane-white canvas dotted hills like giant blooms. Knights jousted for practice, lances splintering, banners flapping. Renly, resplendent in green plate chased with golden antlers, presided over a dais ringed by Tyrells. Ser Loras sparred shirtless nearby, muscles glistening under noon blaze, drawing sighs from squires and maidens alike. Seated to Renly's left, Lord Mathis Rowan fanned himself with rolled parchment. Stannis sails before harvest. Dragonstone galleys thick as gnats round storms end port. Renly took cooled wine, drank. Let him sail. We take King's Landing first, choke him between lion's claws and rose thorns. Lord Randall Tarly, dour as granite, stroked gray mustache. A siege on the capital demands supply lines. If the lion burns fields behind you, half this host will starve. Renly laughed. Highgarden's orchards feed us. And once I sit the Iron Throne, Lannisport's granaries open by treaty. He snapped fingers. Pages unrolled a painted map. We march in a fortnight. Lord Tarly's foot rear guard. Rowan on left, Tyrell vanguard. A herald burst gasping. Your Grace, an envoy from the narrow sea begs audience. Renly motioned. A lean knight strode up, cloak sodden, his helm bearing a crowned stag in flaming heart. Stannis' sigil. Gasps rippled. The envoy doffed helm, revealing a weather-lined face. I am Ser Axel Florent, he declared. I bring terms from King Stannis. Renly lounged, smile playful. King, I see no crown. Speak, Ser Florent, for dusk nears and my cooks await your surrender feast. Murmurs. Loras smirked. Florent's voice rang crisp. Stannis of House Baratheon, first of his name, offers mercy. Bend the knee, yield your host, and he will grant you Storm's End as Lord Paramount of the Stormlands. Refuse, and the Lord of Light shall cleanse your sin in fire. Renly's smile froze. Loras's hand drifted to sword. Lord Tarly muttered prayers. Renly rose. Tell my brother I bend only to common courtesy. He titles me traitor. I title him fool. Return with this. We ride for King's Landing. If he meets me there, I will grant him a cell and fine red aboard his departure to the wall.
Se Florence já o clancha.
Then the fires of R'hllor take you. He turned to go. Renly snapped fingers. Knights blocked Florent's path. One courtesy yet. A hot bath, fresh horse, safe road. But rest easy. Fires you crave burn bright enough in the east. Florent spat at his feet. Before moon's turn, you will roast on a pyre. He shoved past guards. Renly watched him mount and gallop toward rising dust. Loras approached, wiping sweat. You should have hanged him. Nay. Renly swung cloak about shoulders. I prefer witness to my mercy. Yet his eyes held flint spark. Have riders track his flight. If he veers south, let him go. If north. He left the thought hanging like an axe. That night banquet tables groaned beneath pheasant glazed in mint honey, wheels of salty white cheese, river trout stuffed with apricot, and casks of Dornish red tapped free. Harpists plucked lilting chords while Renly and Marjorie led a slow dance under lantern strings. In candle corners, hedge knights bargained for tourney matches and made snuck kisses behind ale barrels. Yet beneath the merriment, a tension pulsed. Talk of red priests stirring shadows, of wildfire at King's Landing, of iron-born raiders harrying the western coast. Renly toasted his lords, laughter ringing. But when the crowd's roar drowned liars, his smile slipped. Eyes tracked the pavilion flap where shadows wavered. He swirled wine, staring into black depths. For all his mirth, he sensed Stannis's long reach snuffing candles down some unseen corridor. Joy could not still the dread of blood bound by birth. In the gloomy crypts beneath Winterfell, Bran Stark's fingertips stroked the cold stone wolf carved atop the tomb of Brandon the Builder. Shadows from his torch danced, giving the wolf's eyes life. Mira Reed knelt beside him, brushing cobwebs from an inscription. Old Nan's tales spoke true. Look, ancient runes I've never seen. She traced symbols weathered to shallow ridges. Bran focused. In his mind, trees whispered, leaves rustled. A strange chanting thrummed beyond hearing. The stones remember, he said softly. The wolves sing of winter's breath. Mira glanced at him. You sound half a tree wizard. Maybe I am. Bran smiled faintly. The three-eyed crow teaches me in dreams. He says every path begins beneath the roots of the past. Summer padded up, golden eyes flashing torchlight. Bran ruffled the direwolf's fur. Footsteps echoed. Maester Luwin descending. My lord, a raven. He held the scroll. Bran broke the wax. Robb's hand. He read quickly. Joffrey dead, he murmured. Tommen crowned. Stannis and Renly at war. Tywin marches on Harrenhal. Maester Luwin sighed. The realm is a cauldron. He peered at Bran. Your brother asks support. Men and grain. Bran's heart clenched. Winterfell can spare grain. Men. Fewer since Robb took banners south. Even so, we send what we can. Luwin tucked scroll away. Better to feed swords than bury bones. Bran nodded. He looked around crypt gloom, felt centuries watching. Tell Roderick to ready wagons. The night is darkening for us all. Above, the sky churned with violet clouds. A raven croaked thrice and flew north, as though fleeing storms yet unborn. At Harrenhal, Lord Peter Baelish strolled the cracked flagstones of the Godswood, inhaling the scent of rotten leaves and cold iron water. The ruins' black towers loomed ragged above fog, yet Baelish smiled as though strolling through the water gardens. Beside him walked Qyburn in Maester's robes shorn of chain links. Torches hissed behind. Baelish spoke softly. Varys writes of wildfire caches. A flame may clear bramble but also spread to fields. Qyburn's eyes gleamed hollow. Fire cleans decay, yet greater miracles await. The silent art of reawakening, under proper conditions. The mountain's husk still rests in cellars. Baelish waved a hand. Corpses seldom sign ledgers. My coin buys living tongues. He halted before a broken weirwood stump, blood-red leaves long gone. Still, a monstrous knight risen from death might serve as shadow before throne. Give me time, Qyburn whispered. You have until harvest. Baelish picked up a blackened leaf, twirled it, let it drift away. Storms build. I mean to sell shelter when roofs collapse. Qyburn bowed and disappeared into gloom. Baelish turned as a raven fluttered to his arm. Seal-cracked stag with inflaming heart. He unfolded Sir Florence report. Renly spurns parley, marches within fortnight. Baelish's smile curved. When brothers duel, one may profit. He whistled. A page ran. Ink, quill, swift horse. I must write to Lady Marjorie, to Tywin, to Stannis's smuggler friend Davos. So many ears thirst for secrets. The boy scrambled. Baelish walked on, boots crunching brittle cinders left from Aegon's ancient firestorm. Harrenhal's ghosts whispered, but he drowned them in whispers of his own. Promises, half-truths, riddles. In ruins, power sprouted like mushrooms after rain. The chain tower rang with hammer clamor day and night now. Tyrion supervised as Master Smith Belicho hammered massive iron links, each the girth of a man's waist. Sparks showered. The air stank of sweat, oil, and scorched flesh where apprentices missed tongs. Thousands of links would stretch from tower to tower across the river mouth, winch gears turning by oxen. Tyrion imagined Stannis's sleek galleys racing upriver only to hear groan of chain rising, prows splintering. Wildfire casks would finish what iron started. But steel and fire alone could not save a starving city. He walked the street of flour at dusk. Market stalls bare, rats nibbling discarded onion skin. Mothers boiled shoe leather. Children sucked pebbles for saliva. Outside a shuttered bakery, a riot sparked as men fought over a sack of oat husks. Goldcloaks drove them back with clubs. No killing stroke yet, but tension hissed. Tyrion cursed. Grain from Duskendale delayed. River lanes patrolled by pirates. He had coin but no bread. An idea struck, a desperate one. Podrick, he said upon returning to the keep. Send for the High Septon. Within an hour, the fat holy man waddled into Tyrion's chambers, rings glinting. Tyrion bowed. Your Holiness, the gods test the city.
Famin becon sin.
The September of Baelor's granaries. How fare they? The Septon's jowls quivered. For alms and holy feast, sacred stores. Sacred indeed. Yet what holier feast than feeding the king's lambs? Tyrion poured wine laced with sweet essence of shade. A modest portion lent to crown, repaid thrice come harvest. The Septon sipped. His eyes brightened. Threefold? Generous. But the faith militant long dissolved, our coffers empty. Silver I can spare, Tyrion said smoothly. Grain I require. He slid a parchment. Royal decree signed by Tywin, forged within the hour. The gods protect those who protect their flock. The Septon greedily pressed signet. 20,000 bushels released. Enough to quiet stomachs till Duskendale shipments. Tyrion exhaled relief when the priest waddled off. Bronn emerged from shadows, amused. Holy grain for unholy rioters. All men pray when stew's full. Tyrion smirked. And riots wait till bellies cry louder than fear. Storm clouds gathered above Dragonstone, turning the WYRM-shaped fortress to silhouette. In the ancient halls carved of black stone, Stannis Baratheon paced before a towering statue of a dragon coiled about a sword. The chamber smelled of salt and smoke. Torches guttered. Melisandre stood at a basalt basin filled with oil. She struck flint. Flame bloomed blood-red. Look, your grace, she whispered. The fire speaks. Stannis ground teeth. I see only flame. Look deeper. She guided his gaze. Shapes shimmered, shadows of ships ablaze upon a river. A chain like a serpent rose. Men screamed. Then a stag crowned in green flame fell to knees. A vision of Blackwater Bay. Your victory awaits if you heed the Lord of Light. Stannis's jaw flexed. Victory bought with shadows? Witches' arts. The Lord's gift. Give of your blood, and darkness births light. She slid daggers across her palm, offering. He stared at his hard, calloused hands, then at the flame. Ambition warred with duty. Finally, he turned away. I win wars with steel. Melisandre's smile flickered. Steel glows brightest in fire. But she bowed. As you will. Yet permit me one boon. Let me sail with your fleet to Blackwater. I will kindle courage. Stannis hesitated. Very well, but no witchcraft unbidden. As you command, King of light. She left. Davos Seaworth stepped from shadow. Your grace. Trust witches and you risk more than war. Stannis rubbed brow. I risk realm either way. Every day Renly preens, he steals hearts. Every day Lannister plots, he buys swords. He faced Davos. I need you on the river, guiding Black Betha at Van. Bring chainbreakers, fire pots, borders. He clasped Davos's shoulder. Win me that city. Davos bowed. I sail at tide. On a mild dusk at Sunspear, Princess Arianne Martell reclined upon a sandstone balcony overlooking the Sea of Dorne. Myrcella sat beside her, bare feet dangling, hair braided with copper beads. Warm wind carried scents of date and blood orange. Below, children chased painted lizards under purple sky. Does the breeze smell different than King's Landing? Arianne asked. Less smoke. Myrcella smiled shyly. More sweet. You will learn other differences, Arianne mused. Dornish court speaks truth and lies in same breath. We dance where others duel. Myrcella touched the fresh scar on Aerys' arm. He lounged behind them, cloak draped, eyes scanning towers. Ser Aerys saved 3 men in the ambush. He says a knight's honor blooms under sun of duty. Arianne's brows rose. A fair flower. She sipped wine. Honor alone grows brittle. Water it with love and fear. Her gaze shifted to Aerys. The Dornish sun can scorch those unaccustomed. She traced the rim of her cup. Tell me of Queen Cersei. Myrcella's smile wilted. She is fierce. She loves, like wildfire loves, burning bright. Tears threatened. She blinked.
I misher terribly.
Arianne's voice softened. Dorne may be thorny, but thorns guard blossoms. My father means you safety, and perhaps greater things. She leaned close. Would you like to be queen one day, Myrcella? Wide eyes met hers. I don't know. She swallowed. Brothers always wear the crown. In Dorne, women may rule. Arianne's lips curved. The law here bends to fairness, not swords. She lifted Myrcella's chin. Remember that. A gull cried overhead. Myrcella gazed across the orange sea, thoughts adrift. Somewhere far north, Tommen sat a throne of blades. Her mother paced a tower. Her uncle sharpened words to daggers. And across rivers and fields, armies gathered. The idea of ruling frightened her, yet something in Arianne's voice stirred hope, like dawn gilding waves. Back in King's Landing, the summer sun seared cobblestones by day, but nights still bit with winter breath. Tyrion stood atop the city wall with Varys, watching barge convoys from Duskendale glide under lamplight, holds heavy with grain. The spider reported quietly, 3 jars missing this eve, chalk marks erased in stable cellar. Tyrion cursed. Cersei, he hissed. She fashions herself second coming of Maegor. He slammed fist on parapet. If she ignites the city before Stannis arrives, we roast all alike. She fears siege. Varys pulled cloak tighter. Fear turns wisdom to folly. Tyrion exhaled frost. Tomorrow we hold council. Father must leash her. Varys eyed the river, and leash the wildfire's keepers. Below, the barges moored, sailors singing relief. A gust stirred north. Tyrion tasted smoke lingering from charred docks. He thought of Daenerys rumored across seas, of dragons small but growing. It seemed as if every element, fire, water, iron, blood, conspired to cleanse or consume Westeros. Perhaps the realm had been calm too long, its rot unseen until cut. A church bell told midnight. Tyrion turned for the stair. Sleep eludes, but we muster strength. Stannis sails soon. When horns sound across the bay, we must stand unburnt. Or burn brilliantly, Varys murmured. Tyrion descended into torchlit hall, footprints echoing long after he left. At Bitterbridge's edge, where willows leaned over hush-black water, Renly Baratheon stood alone in early evening, armored but bareheaded. Moon petals drifted on the pond. Frogs chirped. He had slipped from camp to breathe and plan. Tomorrow his vanguard would march. His power would unfurl like banners in wind. Yet a shadow tugged his thoughts. Stannis' envoy's hellfire threat, the weight of brothers' scorn. Footsteps rustled reeds. Ser Loras emerged, still in training leathers. "You vanish, my king." Renly smiled tired. A last quiet before trumpets. Loras approached, eyes shining. "Trumpets shall herald victory. The Reach rides proud behind you." Renly grasped his hand, squeezed. "And you behind me." Night birds flitted overhead. Loras leaned to kiss. Renly met him. The lily scent of Tyrell Gardens clung to his hair despite sweat. For a precious heartbeat, they were only men in love, not pawns in a game older than tales. A breath later, a ripple across water froze them. Loras broke away, hand to sword. "Who goes?" Silence. Then from shadow under willow drifted a shape, tall, cloaked in rippling black. Moonlight touched no face. Loras drew steel. Renly reached for dagger. The shadow moved soundless. Loras lunged. Blade passed through air. Cold raised gooseflesh on Renly's arms. The figure stopped before him. Outline wavered like heat haze. Then, in awful slowness, it raised shadow hands and split open, birthing darker void within. Renly tried to shout, but breath stole. Pain like ice needled his chest. He looked down. No blade, no wound, but blood blossomed beneath breastplate. He staggered. Loras cried and swung again, sword cleaving only hush. Renly fell to knees. The shadow folded into itself and blew away as smoke. Loras caught Renly as he collapsed. "Maesters!" he screamed, voice cracking. Camp torches flickered distant. No one close to hear. Renly's eyes glazed, lips parting. "Light!" he whispered. Then he lay still. Within minutes, men came running. Loras knelt over the corpse, sobs tearing. Confusion roared. Guards saw no assailant. No wound but a single small puncture at Renly's heart as if by needle. Maesters could do naught. Marjorie Tyrell arrived, face pale stone. She looked upon her husband's body, then at her brother cradling it. Tears glimmered but did not fall. "We must move," she said softly. "Before dawn, the banners must not falter." Lord Tarly took charge. Whispers spread. An assassin in King's Pavilion, likely sent by Stannis. Half the camp panicked. Half spat vows of vengeance. But within hours, Highgarden's gold stepped in. Lord Mace Tyrell convened captains, declared allegiance henceforth to King Joffrey. For now, if fortune's favored or to Tommen should need arise. Some knights balked. Most nodded, lured by gold. Ser Loras, shattered, could not speak. Marjorie soothed him, whispering of future crowns. As dew formed on grass, Renly's body lay beneath a silk canopy, candles guttering in wind. At storm's end, red dawn cast blood across sea. Ser Davos guided Black Betha from port, sails swollen. Melisandre stood at prow, arms raised. She smiled as gulls shrieked overhead. She had seen the flames' promise fulfilled. Wind howled through King's Landing the next night as Tyrion read the Raven. Renly slain. He handed note to Varys. Both breathed silent shock. "Shadow," Tyrion whispered. "Likely," Varys said, voice brittle. "Reports speak of no blade, no culprit." Tyrion paced. "Stannis inherits Renly's army or they scatter to coin." He rubbed chin. "Tyrells will not join Stannis, they loathe him. They may turn lion." Varys nodded. "If wooed swiftly." Tyrion grabbed quill, scribbled a letter to Lord Mace offering marriage. King Tommen to Lady Marjorie, lands and titles doubled, ward hostages. He sealed with gold lion, thrust it at Podrick. "Send riders through Rose Road, promise safe passage. If Tyrells accept, we gain harvests and 50,000 swords." He turned to Varys. "And send word to Dorne. Stannis slain Renly. They must see reason lies with us." Varys bowed. Spiders spin. Tyrion exhaled. The game pivoted again, one king fallen, another risen. And soon, perhaps, dragons stirring, wildfire trembling. He felt himself a juggler on ship deck during storm, balls aflame. "Hold fast, little lion," he muttered, "or fret not. Wind may end the act for all." Far below, bells tolled for evening prayer. Somewhere in the warren, hungry children received the sep's grain and sang thanks to Seven and to the dwarf not named. In a city teetering toward conflagration, a single note of gratitude floated upward, fragile as dandelion down. Tyrion heard nothing, yet perhaps some part of him did, for he sank into chair and allowed one sigh of weary relief before summoning strength anew. At the wall, a raven arrived bearing news of southern strife. Lord Commander Jeor Mormont read in torchlight, "5 kings, 1 winter. Joffrey dead, Renly dead, Stannis rises." He grunted, crumpled parchment. "Southern fools forget the real war," he growled to Jon Snow, now steward at his side. Jon nodded, eyes on the dark woods. "The dead walk." He shivered though flames roared. "Yet they bicker over chairs." "Let them." Mormont tossed letter into fire. "When the cold winds blow, they'll cry for night's watch. We'll be waiting if we survive." He hefted dragonglass daggers gifted by Samwell. "Pray these bite whites better than politics bite men." Jon clenched fist. Somewhere south, his brothers fought lions. Sansa captive, Arya lost. Yet here at world's edge, a darker tide crept. He vowed to stand, crown or none. In Karth, Daenerys stood atop the House of the Undying's highest balcony. Her dragons roost on marble balustrade, wings stretching. She received word by whispering warlocks. A king poisoned, a king shadow slain, fleets massing. She stroked Drogon's scaled neck. "The realm fractures like baked clay," she mused. "Soon cracks widen enough for a dragon to pass." Ser Jorah approached. "Illyrio Mopatus sends galleys. He begs you sail west. He claims Tyroshi captains willing, unsullied mercenaries cheap." She gazed toward sunset. "If kings kill kings, let them exhaust their strength. We arrive when ashes cool." She felt Drogon's lungs rumble, a spark flicker. "Yet I smell smoke on distant wind, not from dragons, but from green fire, a color unnatural." She shivered, though heat hung heavy. "We must learn more." "Spies cost silver," Jorah said. "We have little left. Then we bargain with fear." She lifted dragon high. It spread wings, shrieked. Below, Kartheen merchants scattered. Daenerys smiled. Fear was coin minted pure. At King's Landing's sept, Joffrey's body finally laid to rest. Queens and lords processed, incense thick. Cersei wept crocodile tears for watchers, yet behind veil her eyes burned suspicion. She had heard rumor of chalk marks beneath stable jar racks, of her brother's meddling. That night she confronted Tyrion in tower. "You steal my weapons. I safeguard the city. You weaken me. I strengthen crown." She slapped him sharp. Tyrion's cheek stung. He met her glare, voice low. "Stannis sails with shadows. Would you match them with wildfire inside our own walls? Whatever crushes enemies is weapon." She spun, skirts swirling. "Keep your chain. I keep my fire." He watched. Her leave, fear nodding. A lioness cornered harmed all, cubs and keep alike. Stannis' fleet departed Dragonstone on morning tide wrapped in red sunrise. Black sails emblazoned with fiery stag billowed as drums thundered. Davos guided flag galley at 4, gulls screaming overhead. Melisandre stood astride bowsprit, crimson gown whipping, chanting hymns. Crewmen whispered prayers to Seven or to any, but as sun climbed, hearts steeled. Far upriver, Tyrion's chain rose link by link, tested by oxen. Cogs towed dummy hulls into it. Iron screeched, hulls shattered. The dwarf nodded grim satisfaction. In the alchemist's guild hall, Haleen danced at steam kettle spouts, measuring volatile fluids. Green sparks crackled. "We shall paint the river emerald glory," he crooned. In Tyrell camp, word of Renly's death spread to King's Landing by Raven. Mace Tyrell considered options, received Tyrion's marriage offer, and rubbed soft hands in glee. A crown for daughter. He summoned bannermen. Lords Rowan, Fossaway, Tarly. Arms for Tommen. March rose and gold. Loras, grief-struck, donned full plate, eyes dead. He followed, vow unsaid. The Lannisters would pay for Renly's death if coin proved false. At Harrenhal, Baelish chuckled reading the same letter. He scribbled new messages. One to Tywin promising Tyrell support if given lordship of Harrenhal, another to Marjorie promising Queen's mantle. He sealed with Mockingbird and sent ravens screaming into crimson dusk. Stannis aboard Fury gazed ahead. Blackwater mouth awaited beyond horizon. He clenched jaw. By nightfall 7 days hence, I sit iron throne or drown. The sea roared reply, and so the board set. Lions behind walls, stag upon waves, roses marching, vipers coiled, wolves vigilant, dragons growing, crows watching. Above them all, swirling winds carried faintest scent of winter. In a small garret of the Red Keep, Varys penned final note in dusk light. All pieces move. Pray the game ends before board splits. The blue candle melted into night. Below, King's Landing breathed uneasy, lights twinkling like nervous fireflies. The chain tower groaned, wildfire whispered, soldiers sharpened, beggars prayed, whores laughed, life beating on the brink. Tomorrow might bring peace, or flames to paint sky green and red. But for this single heartbeat, the realm held its breath.